Police Beyond Borders by Stewart Copeland and Ricky Cage. So Police Beyond Borders is the second collaboration album between Stewart Copeland and Ricky Cage. Stewart Copeland is the former drummer for the Police. Ricky is an Indian music composer. Police Beyond Borders is a collection of reimagined Police songs done in different languages. There was an official press release on like what specific languages were each song, but I tried to figure out. It was majority some sort of dialect of Indian, Zulu, Mandarin, and Armenian were the primary languages, along with English, obviously. All right, Eric, your thoughts on this album?
So my question is there more to this album in terms of, is this like a live theatrical show?
No, this is purely just a studio album.
This is purely just a studio album. Sorry, this fruit fly is just like fucking with me here. Yeah, I mean, it was very interesting. I just felt like it lacked a huge component, and I think that big component is having some sort of like, I wouldn't say like Broadway production show or musical, like some sort of like something to watch, like dancers or like a Cirque du Soleil kind of style thing. Because I just felt like it was flat. It's like, so here are some great Police songs which are like well known to everybody, and let's change them significantly. Now, I actually didn't mind some of the changes. I thought that they were cool, but I felt like this would have been so much better to watch live at a theater, and then just have like the different like the Indians like cultures come out and like do like some sort of dance, because there was a lot of like elements of that culture in those songs. Like, so like Zulu, there's like a heavy African influences in the percussion and you know, the melody lines, and same with the Chinese or even the what was the last one, Armenian, right? So and I felt like it was almost like structured as in like, these songs are in Indian, these songs are in like Zulu, some songs here and there are in English, or I actually really liked the Message in a Bottle. I thought that was kind of neat, how they just sang the line and then they said SOS. Like, that was kind of cool. So I just felt like there's a little bit less lacking, but I do appreciate it because I know Stewart Copeland, he studied like drums and percussion and music abroad. So like, he's definitely influenced by a lot of this style of music in Africa, India, China, like all these like, you know, exotic countries, right? But I just felt like it was lacking a little bit with that. So when I was listening to it, it was good, but I'm just like, I wish I was watching something with this. That's what was missing.
Interesting.
For me.
Yeah, I never thought about the visual component, but it is true. I do agree with you. It would have been nice to have some sort of like filmed concert footage of this, because that could have been really cool if they were able to pull that off.
I would have appreciated it more too, because usually, like, I know when you go buy like your favorite play or your favorite musical, and it's like the live production CD, and it's like, if I was to listen to that just with the CD, I'd be like, okay, it's a live production, but it means so much more when you're actually visually there watching it. So that's what was missing for me too. Right.
Yeah. No, I actually sort of agree with that point, because like when I was trying to figure out like what language this is or like who's doing it, there really wasn't any information in the album itself to say like, this is why we're doing this Police song in Zulu, or we're doing this song in Mandarin. Like, there wasn't a specific reason that I could figure out while listening to it. So I went and looked for a Wikipedia page or some sort of press release. But there really wasn't any information to give context as to like why Tea in the Sahara is done in Mandarin. If there was any sort of connection there, like why that was specifically chosen. So that would, yeah, I do agree. That would have actually given a lot more context to these songs. Going back to Stewart Copeland though, as being a phenomenal drummer. Message in a Bottle.
Mm,
He really loves that drum beat because he kept that drum beat from the original song.
yeah, I noticed
And
that
just
too.
like everything else has changed, he just like kept the same drum beat, and that drum beat has no right to be in a pop song like that. It is such a technical like
Yeah.
drum piece that he has written. It has no right to be in a number one pop song on the radio.
Mhm.
It's so technical. When I like just isolate and listen for that drum part, it's like, how is he doing that? How can he coordinate his
Yeah.
limbs playing that thing? Um,
Oh yeah.
I'm a bit on the other side of the spectrum. I do agree with you that I wish it would have been nice to have some sort of visual component to this, or maybe some sort of background. But I really enjoyed this album a lot.
Mhm.
I think it's a bit of a testament to Sting's songwriting ability, where the songs are just so strong that even if you like just strip out everything from it, it still sounds really good. Like they're really catchy
Mhm.
songs, they're really strong songs.
Even the lyrics too, when they're
Yeah.
translated, I agree with, like, usually you have like extra words or a lack of words, and then or you're sacrificing melody lines in the vocals,
Hmm.
which I didn't feel like that was the case in this at all.
Yeah.
But and I do think like there are great songs on this album, and I did enjoy it. I just felt like there was just that big piece missing, which
Mm,
I but I really thought Every Breath You Take was such a cool rendition of that song.
right. Yeah. And
I thought that
Zulu.
was sick. It
Yeah.
was so cool, and it was like very ominous, and just like it was neat. It was really cool how they did it.
Yeah. And I
Mm.
didn't realize this. I had to like when I was writing up my notes for this. Demolition Man is in partially in Armenian. They got Serge Tankian of System of a Down on this, and
Really?
I had to go back and listen to it. I was like, shit, that is Serge. He's singing in Armenian. It was like, it was so cool to just go back and just like listen to that. I was like, holy crap, that's
That's
so
awesome.
good. He's such a good singer.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, like I feel like I didn't come out of this thinking any of the rearrangements were worse than the original.
Mhm.
Uh, Obviously, I don't think any of them are better than the original, because I think the original just has that sort of magic that the Police had, the three of them. But I didn't hate any of these rearrangements. The one song I did have a question about was Murder by Numbers.
Mm.
I'm surprised that was chosen to be on this one, because Murder by Numbers is technically a bonus track on Synchronicity, the very last album that the Police did. I'm
Mm.
surprised that they chose that one
Hmm.
to do. But I don't really have an issue with any of the other songs that they chose, or Stewart Copeland chose.
The only other issue that I had with the album, which I don't know why I can't get over it, but and you can tell, I feel like it's just a fuck you thing from Stuart Copeland, was that there wasn't much bass.
Oh
Or if there
yeah,
was if
yeah.
there was bass, it was quiet. It was freaking quiet, which is a shame. And I just want to say that, like, yes, I know you guys had your falling out and you hate each other. I understand that, but
Oh my
like, you are the Police because it's a trio. Like
god.
the drums along with the bass line and the guitar just work so hand in hand. Like, I mean, there was not a lack of guitar solos in this, in these. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so there's guitar, but if it's just like, fuck you, bass. Like, we don't need a bass player.
No, and honestly, some of the
Yeah.
songs I felt the drums were a tad too loud, especially in Message in a Bottle. Like I get
Mhm.
that's an iconic drum part, but like those drums are hot. Like they're like
Yeah.
right at the front, like
Yeah, and then it's
over
just
the
like,
vocals.
and then there's like hardly any bass. So like certain songs that I felt like the bass, like Message in a Bottle, was a Can't Stand Losing You. I
Yeah.
felt like there should have been a bass, because it was still, they still managed to make it upbeat, which was cool.
Yeah.
But there are certain songs where I'm like, okay, like, you didn't have to sacrifice the bass just because you hate them, because I felt like it would have made them so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting choices here. But I mean, I did enjoy a lot of these songs. And
Mhm.
going back to that bass thing, like Walking on the Moon was left off the
Yeah,
list, which is I'd say the one iconic like bass line in all the Police
probably
catalog.
why he scrapped it.
Yeah. If you had to choose one bass line, that's the one bass line.
Mhm.
Um I'm surprised that didn't make it, but I guess have you seen that video when the Police did their reunion and they were doing rehearsals? And Sting and Stewart Copeland, while playing, they were just rehearsing the song, and as they're playing, they're just screaming at each other. They're going like fuck you, this is how you do this part, fuck you," and they're just playing through the song, rehearsing it.
That's amazing.
Oh my god, I can't believe this band even got through 5 albums. It's crazy.
Oh man.
All right, final thoughts, ratings. What do you think?
Like I actually didn't hate this album. I know I came at it strong, but like it sucks when I like something and it could have been just so much a little bit more better,
Mhm.
right? So I'm gonna give this a 7.5 out of 10
Oh,
because
nice.
I actually did enjoy it. I thought it was definitely a different take. Don't think that you're going to be listening to the Police in this. This is definitely like a artistic rendition of Police songs, and I thought it was done in a very cool way. And I hope that one day that there is like some sort of visual or somebody makes some sort of musical or some sort of play, because the songs that were chosen with the language and everything, like I just find it very interesting, and I think there's more of a story to tell here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. For my side, I really enjoyed this album. Obviously, you can nitpick at certain things, but overall, I just kept listening to this over and over again because I did really enjoy it. So for me, it's a 9 out of 10 on this one
Mm.
because I think it's just really good. Obviously, I will never choose this over the original Police songs,
Mhm.
but it's really interesting listening to these different like reimagined versions in different languages, these really 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 really
Mhm.
good and famous songs. So for me, it's a 9 out of 10 on this one. All right, that was our discussion on Police Beyond Borders by Stuart Copeland and Ricky Cage. For those of you following along with us every single week, the next album that we will be listening to and discussing is going to be, it hasn't been released yet, but the brand new album by Olivia Rodrigo, her brand new album Guts. Uh, Honestly, since reviewing her debut album, I think I gave it an 8. I can't remember
Mhm.
what I gave it. I'm pretty sure I'm upping that to 10 at this point because I have not been able to put that album down because I think it's just that good. So I'm pretty
That's so
excited.
funny. It's funny because I feel like when we make it to that famous level of like people, like we get tons of people watching or listening, and they're just like, "You said back in this episode, but this." It's like, you know what? Sometimes it changes.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just need to let it marinate a bit,
yeah,
right? So, I actually really enjoyed the first album. I'm nervous for this. I'm actually nervous for this
right,
because usually when you have an album that hits it out of the park, like you have high expectations,
right.
Olivia,
Yeah,
high expectations. So
yeah,
let's dig our teeth into this.
yep. So the next album will be Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. Quick announcement before we wrap things up here. We will be off next week because I will be out of town for a week. So there will be no podcast for next Monday. So we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, back here at twitch.tv/the Crossroads Music Podcast, Monday at 10 p.m. ET, 7 p.m. PT. Catch us on Spotify, Apple Music, all the places where you get your podcasts. But yes, we will be back in 2 weeks' time. And I think that's about it. Eric, anything else before we wrap this whole thing up?
I think that's it, buddy.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. This was the Crossroads Music Podcast, and we will catch you all next time.